Hello. I always have to do the test face because I'm assuming that even if you get to the stream right on time, you uh, you may experience a commercial or something, as what typically happens when you open up a YouTube video, right? Well, anyways, welcome to the Rich Alvarez channel. I'm Rich Alvarez, and if you didn't know that, then you must be new. So really, welcome to the Rich Alvarez channel. I don't know if you guys can hear my cat meowing in the background. I don't know what's going on with him right now. Anyways, so we have something very important to discuss today, which is that the Legend of Zelda movie is finally happening. Little bit of background about my experience with Zelda. There's the obvious stuff. Obviously, guys know I'm a huge Nintendo fan. We obviously had our good friend Kent Melville play Link in our series, Stupid Mario Brothers, and we had a couple different people play Zelda over the years. Man, I remember thinking, and some of you remember this in early, I don't even know, streams, maybe early Rich Alvarez updates before streaming. Like as far back as like 2010, I was saying like, man, if I ever made it as a Hollywood director, I'd really love to do a Legend of Zelda movie. Well, didn't ever quite make it to Hollywood, but that's okay. They're gonna go ahead and make one anyway. A bunch of news outlets started blasting this, including this article from Esquire, which I will now share. A lot of stuff like Esquire here. So you can see in the Esquire, it's like, oh, everything we know about the Zelda movie. And here's a quote from Miyamoto himself, who is very involved in the project. He says, I have been working on the live action film The Legend of Zelda for many years now with A.V. Arad. And many of you people may know A.V. Arad is one of the top producers over at Sony. He has produced every single Spider-Man film over, doesn't matter which actor. He has been a producer on every single Spider-Man and some other big projects with Sony. And yes, this Zelda movie is coming from Sony, which I found very interesting because I personally thought that after the success of Illumination's Super Mario Brothers movie that we could expect more Nintendo properties from them. But apparently Miyamoto isn't trying to do a Nintendo cinematic universe. I mean, and again, I love Marvel, but if the declining box office returns of the Marvel Cinematic Universe are any indication of anything, maybe cinematic universes, we should hold off on them for a little bit. I don't know. I could talk more about that in a whole separate video. But the point is, no Nintendo Cinematic Universe, because Illumination is owned by Universal and Sony is Sony, of course. So there's not going to be any crossover. And not that there would be anyway, because this Zelda movie is going to be live action. So it's going to be completely different from the Mario movie that we got. And I think I even said in one of our videos after the Mario movie came out that I would enjoy an animated Zelda movie, but I feel like Zelda really has to be live action. Anyway, sorry. Continue on with this quote. A.V. Arad, who has produced many mega hit films, Miyamoto wrote on X, formerly Twitter, it will take time until its completion, but I hope you look forward to seeing it. To my knowledge, Link has never said a single word in the video games outside of a couple of expression-filled grunts. So The Legend of Zelda might follow the Super Mario Brothers movie and become another journey in questionable acting choices. Very interesting. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, so sorry. That was the end of his quote. So Miyamoto's quote ended where he says, I hope you look forward to seeing it. That's where Miyamoto's quote end. The rest of this thing is not Miyamoto. It's just Esquire. I was going to say that's a very interesting thing for Miyamoto to say, like, oh, Link never talks. This article is just saying that he never talked. Of course, we had our Link, Kent Melville, talk. And obviously, if you're making a movie, you can't just have a silent protagonist. You have to give him, character. You have to have him speak, so that way he's an actual part of the movie. So my bad, I messed up on that quote, but that's okay. We got a lot of cool people here. Tim Rogers says, yo, hello all. Nacho Taco says, all I have to say right now is that I'm disappointed that it isn't being made by Peter Jackson. That is all. Well, let's see here. Yeah, same here. I expected animes will move soon tomorrow. Yes, thanks, Chris. Yes, to that point, I was talking to Chris on the phone earlier, and I hope he doesn't mind that I say this. But when we were talking about who we think should play Link in the movie, one of the actors that Chris said was Orlando Bloom. And I was like, Orlando Bloom? Like, he's too old. He's way too old. Like, I think even adult Link in Ocarina of Time is only supposed to be like 17 or something. But he's like, oh, they could just de-age him because, he'd be look perfect as like that Legolas sort of look. But remember, they did try to de-age him in the Hobbit movies. It didn't look so great, but I'm assuming that technology is better. But even with better tech, I feel like he's just too old, and he would have been great if they had made the movie in 2000. He would have been perfect, but yeah, Chris is talking here. Yep, de-age Orlando Bloom. I want Legolas Link. That tech has gotten better, but why have an old person de-age when you can just find a young actor that can really embody the spirit of youth, as it will. Yes, sorry, Chris. Chris says, don't ruin my dreams. Well, I'm not casting it, but obviously what we got from that article is really important because Miyamoto says that he's been working with Alvarez. This is something that has been kept under wraps, which I actually really respect, because sometimes we hear about, like, Lucasfilm makes this mistake all the time. They're like, new Star Wars movie from director Patty Jenkins, and then that silently gets canceled. We've seen that a dozen times from them and other studios too. They'll be like, Blade, and I think the Blade movie is finally happening now, but they announced it like 5 years ago. And so, like, what are we getting excited over? I respect that Miyamoto, Sony, and Avi Arad were keeping a tight lid on all this until they were actually ready to say that this is going to be happening. And they already have a director. It was in that article as well. Let's get back over to that. They said it. I know that it's the director of The Maze Runner, but I forget his name. It's somewhere in this. Forgive me, I forget his name. Or maybe it was in another article I was looking at. If only I knew who the director of The Maze Runner was. Well, I know that it was somewhere in this article. Oh, we do know that the screenwriter is Derek Connolly. Can you see my highlights there, chat? Over there? I think you can, yeah. Yeah, so Derek Connolly wrote the screenplay for Jurassic World, which is a fun movie. I don't know, everybody has different opinions, but I really like Jurassic World. I actually really enjoy the entire Jurassic World trilogy. Derek Connolly wrote Jurassic World, the first of the new trilogy, which is a fun romp through Jurassic World, and it's mainly about those kids. And I thought that was pretty good. So maybe that's kind of here's a big budget movie that made a lot of money. It's an adventure movie that starred kids. Let's get him to do Zelda, So I can see where their thinking was on that. Obviously, Avi Arad has done tons of stuff. Wes Ball. Sorry, there was just right above where I was looking. Wes Ball he was the director of the Maze Runner series, and he is the director of the upcoming Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I like Planet of the Apes movies, but right now he's mainly known for the Maze Runner. So Wes Ball is our director for this. Now, when I first heard that news that it was the Maze Runner director, I got a little scared because I was not the biggest fan of the Maze Runner movies. Now, of course, he's but that does show that he can I guess fans of the Maze Runner said that it was pretty close to the books. So this is a director that's already shown that he can make an exciting adventure movie about kids again, and stick pretty close to the source material. So to me, that's what Avi Arad and Miyamoto are probably looking at. They're looking at a young director that is already known for adapting these like young adult sort of stories. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of Maze Runner, I can kind of see where their head's at. But of course, you don't have to be a fan of everybody's work. There's been plenty of directors that have made okay films that then went on to make great films, Like, I love Memento. Not everybody loves Memento, but Christopher Nolan, of course, went on to make all the Christopher Nolan films. Sometimes he still has a bad day. Tenet, anyone? And then sometimes he makes The Dark Knight, So, like, it's, I don't think we should be judging this guy just because of the Maze Runner. I will be cautiously optimistic. But of course, with a team with Miyamoto, Avi Arad, and Derek Connolly, I feel like, there's very little to, it would be a shame if they messed it up, but I feel like everything's in pretty good hands. But that's what I'm saying, though, is like usually we just get an announcement that a movie is going into production. They already have the director, the producer, the screenwriter. This movie is already in production and has been in production, according to Miyamoto, for 3 years. So they've really, been keeping a tight lip on this, So this must have gotten started about the time they started working on the Mario movie as well. See, Scary Mask Tomboy says, why make the movie live action and just make it animation like the Mario movie? Well, obviously, Miyamoto decided that it just needed to be live action. That's why he didn't go with Illumination. And again, I think I said before that you could probably make a really awesome animated Zelda movie, but I feel like Zelda deserves to be on that caliber of like a Lord of the Rings. Oh, and I forget who said it, to the comment earlier about Peter Jackson. I love Peter Jackson, but the guy has not directed a movie since The Hobbit. He has for the last 10 years just doing documentaries. He made that one on the Great War, especially how it affected Great Britain. And then he did Get Back, the Beatles documentary, and he just finished up working with the Beatles on their new song and music video. He's just really doing documentary stuff now. I don't think he's interested in going back to movies right now, or maybe ever. I think he just kind of likes his little personal projects, and he's really into technology. He created his whole like Mao computer system over there and everything. It doesn't really seem like he's kind of going the route of, say, like a George Lucas or a James Cameron, where they're more interested in the technology behind things, and then once in a blue moon they might make a movie. Yeah. Brandon Weimer says whoever is portraying Link needs to have character, needs to have extensive knowledge of the character. Well, not necessarily. I mean, I would hope so, but you hear a lot about like how Robert Pattinson, he was a huge Batman fan as a kid, and then read a bunch of comics and graphic novels before getting into character as Bruce Wayne Batman for The Batman. And if any of you haven't seen, I think it came out last year or the year before, The Batman. In my opinion, it's the best Batman to ever Batman, The Batman, Robert Pattinson. Because it's the first Batman movie where it actually feels like he's like doing the detective work and, doing the thing, detective, all that aside, that's a great example of an actor really getting into character. Although we do have some, actors that really do great at what they do, and they don't know the source material at all. And I'm trying to think of an example. Well, I'll give an example of something that didn't even have source material. If you look at Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future, Marty McFly became an iconic character. There was no, cartoons, comic books, or anything before Back to the Future. There certainly was after Back to the Future, but it's not like Michael J. Fox had years of cartoons and comic books to look up. He'd had to create that character. Whoever's playing Link, whether they've played the games or not, will get what they need from the script. That is why screenplay gets an Academy Award if it's good enough. The screenplay is supposed to dictate what the actor says and what the actor does, and they can kind of take it from there. If the screenplay isn't good, then it's hard for the actor to do their job. Everything the actor who plays Link needs should be in the screenplay. Now, we would hope that whoever they cast as Link will do their homework just to kind of get the vibe of everything, but they don't necessarily have to do that. And this is coming from filmmaker Rich Alvarez, not fanboy Rich Alvarez. Fanboy Rich Alvarez is like, they better get someone who's a huge fan of Zelda. But I'm just saying, as filmmaker Rich Alvarez, they don't necessarily have to get somebody who's a huge Zelda nerd. Plus Nirvana?
Pattinson.
Oh. Some Norwegian guy says Harry Gregson Williams would be great as the composer of a Zelda movie. Don't know who would I pick as director though. Well, again, they've already picked Wes Ball as the director. Again, so that's the thing. We're not getting an announcement here. They are announcing that this movie has already been in production. So we already have Wes Ball as our director. So again, as I say, if you if you don't like Wes Ball, then it's kind of tough stuff at this point. Scott Otter, my friend, is here. Scott Otter says they need to cast 2008 Michael Cera. That would be amazing, but unfortunately, he looks kind of like a thumb these days. Anyways, yes, Chris, thank you. Chris says, so how about that article with the list of potential actors for Link? Yes, I was just about to get to that. I just wanted to, word vomit a little bit more. Anyways, yeah, let me switch my present. By the way, Chris, I figured out how to share a screen without having a second monitor. It's really cool. You just you just go share screen, and then you can select window. So now we'll go to the variety on who should play as Link. Who should play as Link in the live-action Zelda movie? This is an article from Variety. So let's see what they chose as their top picks for who should play Link. And I will say this right away. I think most, if not all, of the actors that they picked, I think are all old. Some people would argue that maybe they should just get an unknown. You don't necessarily have to get an unknown, but you need to get someone who's like around 17, please. And also, are we doing Ocarina of Time? Is there going to be Kid Link too? They better do. Again, I've said this before, and many may disagree. I do think that Breath of the Wild became the best Zelda game of all time. As a game, functionally, it is the most fun to play. I still think that Ocarina of Time has the best, most fleshed out story of The Legend of Zelda. I hope to Christ they're going with the Ocarina story. We'll see. Anyways, so who should play Link? They have Jacob Tremblay. Tremblay, yeah. So if the only thing I really know this guy from is the not the Room. He was the little boy in Room with Brie Larson. Now he's 17 years old. Jacob Tremblay is actually the perfect age to play Link. I just don't know if I like his face, something about his eyebrows or something. Just like maybe if they bleached the hell out of him, I don't know. He's playing the voice of Robin on the Harley Quinn cartoon, so that's cool. Oh, he was the voice of Flounder in The Little Mermaid, the most recent one. So he's doing a lot of voice work these days. He looks like he could maybe pull off Link, and he is the right age. So there's that. Cody Smith McPhee. He was in Power of the Dog. He was the little boy in The Road. Let's see, how old is he now? This article doesn't say how old he is. Justice Smith is another one. I've seen Justice Smith on many people's list. I think that the chief problem with Justice Smith is that he was already in Detective Pikachu. So I think Detective Pikachu was through Warner Brothers. See, we've got Mario through Universal Illumination. We've got Pokemon through Warner Brothers, and we've got Zelda through Sony. So a cinematic Nintendo universe is just never going to happen. Keep it all under one studio, please. Anyways, but Justice Smith was already in Detective Pikachu. So if by some miracle they figure out rights issues to get a Super Smash Brothers movie ever made, then it would be awkward if Justice Smith was Link and also the character in Detective Pikachu. So I vote for not Justice Smith. That's my reasoning there. Jacob Elordi. I don't like this guy. I don't even need to read his little bio here. He looks like a thumb. He looks like a foot. Don't like it. Walker Scobell. Here is, I've seen this on People's Choices. He's probably my top contender right now because he's about to be in the Percy Jackson show on Disney Plus. But if any of you have ever seen The Adam Project, so The Adam Project is a Netflix movie where Ryan Reynolds comes from the future to stop his younger self from doing something in the past. I forget the exact details of it, but it's a great movie. I saw it a couple years ago. This kid played younger Ryan Reynolds. He played the kid version of Ryan Reynolds and did such an amazing job of being the kid version of Ryan Reynolds. If you haven't seen The Adam Project, watch The Adam Project. This kid would have been perfect as Kid Link a few years ago, but now he could be perfect as adult Link. He's only 14 years old right now. But I mean, I was even telling Chris earlier, it's probably going to be at least a year or two before they start filming. I say get him now, sign him to a contract now, and he'll be the perfect age by the time cameras start rolling. But he's an amazing young actor, so get him. Caleb McLaughlin, I think that's how you say it, from Stranger Things. He was in Stranger Things. This is where because of the brand recognition of Stranger Things, it's possible that I don't want people to watch Zelda and be like, hey, the kid from Stranger Things, because that Stranger Things is just so popular. I guess because it's even when I watch the new Ghostbusters movie, it's like it's hard for me not to look at Finn Wolfhard and be like, hey, that's it's the kid from it's the kid from Stranger Things. It happens. Not that really impedes the movie that much, but I don't know. It's a thing. Jack Champion looks like a foot. Nicholas Galitzine. Where do they get some of these indie folks from? Come on, Variety. Stop, get your head out of your ass a little bit. Nicholas Galitzine. He was in one of the remakes of Cinderella, Purple Hearts, Red, White, and Royal Blue. I don't know this actor at all, but he looks like he's like a male model and should not be Link. Gabriel LaBelle. His face is a little too round for Link. I'm being super judgy now. Link has to have that, angle, William Gao, where's he from? He's from Heartstopper. I don't know that show. Thomas Brody Sangster. Here's an actor that I do know. He was, of course, in Game of Thrones, but he also played young Paul McCartney in Nowhere Boy. He's like 33 years old. Yeah, so 33 years old. Too old, guys. Too old. Josh Giddey. I don't like him already, and that's the end of the list. Okay, so that is not mine. That's Variety's list, but I just wanted to go through what some people are thinking. The last thing that I want to share with you guys is just this quick little bit. I'm not actually going to watch that. You can watch the video on your own. But 15 years ago, IGN made a little April Fool's video. This was in 2008. IGN made a trailer for a Legend of Zelda movie, and some people were like, "Oh my god, this looks awesome!" But I think that a lot of us it was April Fool's, and I think a lot of us could tell that the production is really good in this fake trailer. Some of the special effects though looked a little TV show, and then of course they admitted pretty much right away that it was a joke. Go ahead on your own time, fans, and look up IGN's Legend of Zelda trailer though, because it's still pretty cool. That's all I want to say about that. Okay, I got to see some of the comments people said because I know. Agreed. Richie, at least for a first game, Majora is my favorite Zelda story ever, though. Okay, so I was talking about how Ocarina needed to be. Yeah, Ocarina explains the legend the best. Jacob looks so androgynous. Justice was great in Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. I would love a Twilight Princess movie, but it would be Lord of the Rings in length, like 3 movies. Maybe, I don't know. You got to go Ocarina, though. Rich Alvarez, that dude looks like a thumb. Yeah, Chris says, yeah, Walker is my favorite so far, not counting Orlando Bloom. Will Link be a kid or an adult? That is the question, because I think that they probably don't want to do an entire movie with Kid Link. If they're going to go Ocarina, I would say that the first 45 minutes at most would be Kid Link, and then it'll transition to adult Link. I think that the best example of this that I can think of, and if you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it, one of the greatest superhero movies of all time still is the original 1978 Superman the movie with Christopher Reeve. That movie spends a lot of time before. I think you don't see Christopher Reeve for like an hour in that movie. Like, it's baby Kal-El in space, with Marlon Brando as Darrell, and then he's a baby and he comes to Kansas, and then it's baby Kent for like a minute, and then we spend like at least 20 minutes with teenage Clark Kent in Smallville before we finally get to post going to the Fortress of Solitude. We finally get Christopher Reeve in the suit, and then he But even though that's an old movie, I love it, and I think that is that is like that should be like the foundation of how you make these kind of saga epics. You don't have to have a whole movie with young Link and then a whole movie with teenage Link and then a whole conclusion movie. Screw Hunger Games and prequels and splitting one book into two parts and all that crap.
And new Hunger Games.
Yeah, that's what I meant, because it's like we don't need a prequel to the Hunger Games. Like like do it all in one movie. If you watch Superman the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You can do it all in one film. Anyways, Richie has a way with words at describing people's faces. Yep. Morgan Freeman is Ganondorf. Oh, but he's so old. Link, I have something to tell you.
I gain a freckle every time you play the ocarina.
Every time you play the ocarina, I gain a freckle. This is the first time I heard the insult looking like a foot. Well, now you all won't forget. Yeah, new stream idea. Rich compares people to appendages. Yeah. Scary Mask Trophy says 2 round bra. And again, I'm not saying it's bad to have a round face. I have a very round face, obviously. I'm not talking about me, and I'm not talking about people. I'm just saying if you're going to play Link, he's got to be elf, long face, That's all I'm saying. Richie is so funny that I wish he could make fun of my face. Thomas Brady Sangster is weird because he's so much older, but he still looks 15. Yeah, maybe. Chris, I was just going to say that. Chris says, oh yeah, thanks for including that article. Yes, W. I think he messed up on that. Xanderberg says, we did it first. Let's see here. Middle Eastern. I got to catch up because I'm now way behind in the comments. Steven Seagal as Ganondorf. I don't think so, buddy. Okay. Hey, Superman is out now in 4K. All right. Well, if anybody else has any more dire comments, I think I just want to say some closing words, which is that I'm really excited for this movie. It seems like Miyamoto has been working on it a while, and he's been working hard on it. So I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what it is, even if it's bad. I can't wait to see it, because even if it's bad, at least we can say we have a Zelda movie. For decades, we still were able to say we had a Mario movie, the Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo movie. It wasn't the greatest, but we could say we have a Mario movie. We don't have a Zelda movie. So even if this movie is bad, we'll have a Zelda movie, guys. Like, I'm excited no matter what. Anyways, I think that's all that I have for you today. I just wanted to get my opinions out on that. I'm really looking forward to it. And with all that said, please subscribe. It's free and easy, just like walking down the street. Hooray! I couldn't think of anything. Anyways, we'll have a. Oh, Sam says I have a dire comment. And I guess we'll see what it is. Richie is telling that would be rich. Oh, just like saying everyone looks like a foot. Good one, Chris. Yeah. Oh, it's free and easy, just like me. Okay. I gotta close out, but I'm waiting for Sam comment. I think Tom Holland is Lincoln Mark Hamill would work if it was an animated film. Sure, we did actually discuss Tom Holland earlier today, me and Chris. Tom Holland is like 27, looks like he's 16. He could maybe work. I mean, Avi Arad is the producer, so maybe Tom Holland. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to see Tom Holland as Spider-Man and Nathan Drake and Link, you know, and like he's just everything else. So I think that that's maybe a little too much Tom Holland, a little too much Tom Holland. Oh yeah, the Harry Potter parodies. I was just watching some of those the other day. Scary Mask says making the Harry Potter, like back in the day. We if you don't know, made some. Oh, what would make it Rich approved?
Mm-hmm.
What would make it like if I tear up during the movie?
Your ideal cast. Your ideal cast. Ideal.
I was trying to think about that all day. Yeah, actually that's true. Chris said it. Kent Melville is Link, our friend who played Link on our show. He was great. I think honestly, it doesn't really matter. I would just want them to pick good people. I don't really care who they cast. I care more about the screenplay, and like making sure I don't want it to be one of the, because so many movies are just like tongue in cheek today. It was like that was funny in Guardians of the Galaxy the one time, but like I don't want every single movie these days to be like joke, so we can stave off of dramatic tension. Joke, joke. I'm so sick of jokes in movies, guys. I want my just knee grinder like drama seriousness back. Can we just go back to that? Anyways, I think that's going to do it for me. I love you all, and we'll see you next time on Rich Cast. That's what we're calling it. Sometimes we call it Rich Cast, sometimes we forget to name it all, but this is Rich Cast, and it doesn't have a regular time. I hope someday we can come up with a regular schedule. But until then, we'll see you. Bye.